Hey folks, this is Johnny. Welcome to another Friday Night Live stream. My son just gave me one of the best chocolate chip cookies I've ever eaten. And it's stuck in my teeth. All right, so welcome everybody. We're going to actually take a quick look at some of the differences between looping an event and duplicating an event. And we're also going to do some testing, once again, using this theory on things I've never tried before. So if you guys could, I'd really appreciate it if you would like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you're over on Rumble, someday it escapes me. It is the easiest thing to remember. If you're over on Rumble, then you would actually hit the subscribe button. I'm sorry, you would actually hit the follow button. Man, I'm all messed up. Right. Hopefully everybody is doing well. Welcome to Home Studio Trainer Studios, or HST Studios, such as it is. It's one itty-bitty room with an acoustic drum kit stuck on the outside. Hope you guys are doing well. Looks like we got a few people in here, and looks like Kyle is here. Alan is here. Good to see you. So is Sean Aaron. Great to see you. Edgar Price is here. Neil Thompson, and who else we got? Loans is here. Good to see you, man. And Billy Morgan. And that is it so far. Very cool to see everybody. Allen Intelligence Agency. He says, yo. Yo. All right, so I've been perusing YouTube for ideas for videos, and I've made a bunch of comments on a bunch of videos. There's a lot of really good stuff out there for Studio One, so we are extremely lucky to have all of these people that are doing just some outstanding videos. And so I went through a couple of them and learned a couple of things myself, but I noticed something interesting. And oddly enough, I got a very similar question on this subject yesterday. So what I'm going to show you guys is the difference between looping an event. There goes the dysphonia. Looping an event and duplicating an event, because there's one major difference between the two. And I think everybody will be really interested in learning that. And many of you may already know this. Again, my main focus is on the beginners. Ooh, that was kind of cool. Those are the springs on my microphone arm. Hey, Paul Morgan just joined us. He says, good evening all. Good to see you. Glad you could make it. We have 10 people in here already. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Sorry I couldn't get started at 6. I think these things are going to start at 7 and not 6. I just don't get off work on time. And I have to go to another job right after this. I want to make sure I get these in. All right, very cool. So let's go ahead and go to the classroom. We're just going to get started on this right away. And with 10 people in here, I think we're good. 11 people. Very, very cool. All right, so here we are in our song. It's just a drum beat. Whoops. Drum beat. All right, so now for those of you that are on Studio One 7, this is really important to understand. If you select an event and you just drag a MIDI event across, it doesn't do squat. So if you want to loop it, there's a couple of ways of doing this. The first way is to grab the bottom right-hand corner. And if you pull it, whoops, see if I can get it to do it again. There we go. Now all of a sudden it's going to loop. Just like that. And it'll go for as long as I stretch it. The other way to do this, if you right click on the event and you choose loop, it's going to loop the event till the end marker, wherever you have your end marker placed. And I think the default is 5 minutes, I think. Let's see. Let's change. Yeah, I can just go like this. Bam. Down to here. And, okay, mine is about 4 minutes and 58 seconds. I'm going to undo all of that now. All right, so those are the two ways to loop. So what are the differences? Duplication is just selecting the event and hitting the D key. Whoa, there we go. So those are the two different ways that you can add more of the same event. But there's one thing major to remember. If I actually duplicate it like this by hitting the D key, you can see that down there. I can actually hit it a bunch of times. D, D, D. Just like that. Each of these are independent. If you make a change to one, it doesn't affect the others. However, if you loop an event, if you make a change to one, it will affect the others. So, if I go ahead with this and I hit play, whoops. If I decide in the MIDI editor, and I can do this with the drum editor or just the actual keyboard editor. If I make a change to this hi-hat right here, and I bring him up, we'll go all the way to the splash. Look what happens. It actually changes each of the looped events because these are shared. Does that make sense? So if you loop an event and make a change to one of them, it will affect all of them. I'm going to do a Control-Z to go back. There we go, just like that. So it's important to remember that if you're going to do this with looped events, if you change one, you're going to change them all. If you don't want that to happen, then you would want to use the duplicate option so that each of these remain independent. Let's go ahead and undo those. So in this case, I would actually hit the D key and I would actually make 3 of them just like that. And now if I make a change to one, none of the other ones are affected. A lot of people don't know this. So it's important to understand that. So now, and you can also see too that I can select each of the duplicated events individually. However, if I loop them, I can't select them individually because they are all clones of the same. Well, not clones. They are all the same. So that makes a huge, huge difference. And I've had people call me and say, how do I get out of this issue here with if I make a change to one drum loop that I've imported and I loop it, how do I get out of this changing? Now, I'm not sure if this is going to work. This is where Johnny gets to experiment and make a fool of himself if it doesn't work. All right, so I'm going to right-click on this right here. Now, I don't know if the separate shared copies is going to be an option. Let's see. I don't even know if it's even going to show up in this here. Merge, select, split at grid. I could do that if I wanted to. There we go. Separate shared copies. See what this does. It didn't do anything. So that option doesn't even work for a looped event. That is also important to remember. Yeah, there we go. Neil says we're all a little whacked from Christmas. Yes, it was a nice long Christmas. Now, I did have to work during opening gifts and stuff on Christmas Eve, but it was just fine. It was no problem. Because since I get to work from home, it makes it really easy. All right, so there you go. So now, if I want to separate these, let's try another thing. I'm going to use the split tool up here. And I'm going to split this here. And I'm going to split this here. I'm going to go back to the arrow tool. Hey, guess what? Now we're separate. Now, this will be interesting. If I make a change to one, is it going to affect the others? No. So the minute you actually cut the looped events, they become duplicate events. So editing one does not affect the other. What do you guys think? All right, let me go to the chat here real quick. Yeah, that was really a real quick one. But I wanted to make sure that I let you guys know. Let's see, I'm looking for, if you want to actually ask me a question and you don't want me to miss it, make sure you type @HomeStudioTrainer before you ask the question so that I see it when it lights up yellow. Just like when it lights up orange, sorry, like Neil did. So if I show you this, see if you type @HomeStudioTrainer, I see this beautiful orange box here. So there you go. Excellent. All right, let me actually go down the list here. Neil and I took different buses together. That's excellent. Paul Morgan is here. He says, good evening, all. Good to see you. I thought it was Alan. It's Alien Intelligence Agency. So looks like he's being called AIA. Good to see you. I'm going through. Let's see. Kyle says, dupe or loop? That is the question. To loop or dupe? That is the question. Let's see. Good evening, everyone. Says Billy. Evening. All right. Just Bob says, hello, everyone. Stopping in to tap the like button. Thank you. Having another evening of Christmas and another tomorrow. Wow. Visiting family. Excellent. I don't have much family left. Not that wants to visit, at least anyway. Let's see. Kyle says, I sent you a small donation via PayPal. Thank you, Kyle. I haven't got the alerts yet. PayPal is terrible at sending alerts. All right. Well, thank you for that, Kyle. I do appreciate it. Let's see. Official getting started. What's good, Billy? Good to see you. All right. So now, what about audio events? This is going to be interesting because really... Oh, wait a minute. I got to do one more thing. And this is actually interesting. Let me actually go back to the single event. Okay, there is one thing that's actually interesting when it comes to using looped events if you want to add data. All right, so you saw here that I did the loop option here, and I made 3 of these. So if I actually move a MIDI note in one, you can see it moves it for all of them. So that's no problem. So let's undo that. But if I add information to one, it does not propagate, which is interesting. So since I got the track armed, I'm just going to add some toms playing, and you'll actually see them show up in the event. Ready? There we go. There you go. So you can see that I added a bunch of toms to this looped event, but the looped event did not duplicate the tom work. Hey, Bob just joined and became a member here of the YouTube channel. Thank you so much. Welcome to HST Bronze member. Thank you for that, Bob. I really do appreciate it. Every little bit helps. For those of you that are thinking about joining my Patreon but don't want to shell out a bunch of money for some of the tiers, I added a $1 tier. $1 a month. That's it. For those of you that want special videos and things that I can't put here on YouTube, like my Beatles videos and my mixing of the Queen song, Killer Queen. I can't put those on YouTube and monetize them, and the Beatles stuff gets a pretty hefty strike even if I don't monetize it. So I put those all on my Patreon. So if you go to the Patreon link that is in the that is in the description here. You can join for just $1. And the only thing you don't get access to are these Zoom sessions. So you'd have to pay a couple bucks if you needed a Zoom session. All of the other tiers, the 2, the 6, the 9, those all get free Zoom sessions. So if you want to support me, but really don't have enough in the kitty to do so, maybe a $1 option is cool if you want to help me keep the website going, especially. And I'll show you guys that a little bit later on. All right, so that's the deal when it comes to with MIDI events, when it comes to using either loop or duplicate. All right, so let's do this. I'm going to right-click and I'm going to remove track and instrument. Now, I don't think that there is much that is going to be different when it comes to an audio loop, but I did not test any audio loops before the show. So we're all going to test them together. Thank you for joining, Bob. I really appreciate it. Let's see. Nice. Let's see. Neil Thompson says, beat sounds like tone lock is about to come with a rhyme. Okay. Not quite sure what that means. Bob's got to run. Take care, Bob. Thanks for jumping in. Hey, Mark is here. Good to see you, Mark. All right, so we're actually doing audio. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create an audio track, just one. It's a vocal track. I'm going to arm that track. There we go. All right, so I'm just going to, let's see, just going to record a short passage so that I can duplicate it and see what happens. There we go. All right, so let's keep this locked to the grid. Just going to record a short passage so that I can duplicate it and see what happens. Just going to record a short... I love overdubbing my voice. All right, so I can still do the same thing. I can go ahead and loop this. I'm going to loop it 3 times. Just like that. Just going to record a short passage so that I can duplicate it. All right, so that when they're looped, what duplicates? Well, let's see. I can lower okay, now see, all of these are locked together, so I cannot lower one lower than the other. If I want to do that, I would have to right-click, and I would have to activate the gain envelope. See, now what the gain envelope is going to allow me to do... Oh, it's not. Wait a minute. Hold on a second. That is interesting. Oh, they're still locked. Now, I thought for sure I would be able... I thought for sure that I would be able to adjust, like, as a whole, I guess a whole event. So look at that. So no matter what I do... Okay. So how would this be useful? This would be super useful if you actually have a song with a bunch of choruses in a row. Not in a row, but throughout the song. And just wanted to go ahead and, use the vocal track to actually take the choruses. But see, I can't separate these, so maybe that's not even... See, that's not even a good way to do it. Because if I can't separate, so the minute I separate them, I don't think they're going... Oh, okay. All right. So for audio tracks, it's a little bit different than with instrument tracks. So if I decide to separate them, they are still shared copies. Look at that. So if I adjust one, they adjust. I did not see that coming. Just like that. So I could put this chorus a bunch of measures over, and then this chorus, excuse me, and then I would be able to make sure that if I adjust one, it's adjusting them all. So now I am going to see if the separate shared copies option works. So now let's see. Ready? Bang. All right. There we go. So for this center one, I actually used the command to separate shared copies. So now this one can be adjusted differently than this one. But these two are still connected. Now you see the little icon? Let's see. Oh, that's not going to work. There we go. So this is shared copy 1. This is number 2, and this is number 1. Oh, okay. That's good to know. So I don't know if you guys are understanding that. So what this is going to do is if you actually take one of the previously looped audio events, if you do the right click and say separate shared copies, you can see that the ones that you didn't touch are still connected and the center one is not. But if we zoom in on it, you can see that it actually tells you the copies that are shared. So this is a copy of this event. This is not. Here we go. Just like that. That is pretty darn cool. So you can see here that it is quite a bit different than using the instruments, either looping or duplicating. Now, with the audio events, if I just did a duplicate, then we wouldn't have to go through all this rigmarole here. They would all be independent copies, and you would be able to adjust them independently. But in this case, if you use the looping option, whether it is the drag in the corner where you get that funny little icon there, or if you use the right click looping option, if you're doing it on an audio event, you have the ability to loop them. But you have to separate shared copies on an audio event for anyone that you want to adjust differently from the original that you moved. What do you guys think? Hey, Mark with the $20 donation. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that very, very much. Very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's see. Billy Morgan says bounce merge events. Yeah, sure, I could do that too. I could do the bounce and the merge, but what I really wanted to focus on was using the loop option, whether it be on the independent event and looping it, or whether you're using the right click loop option, or whether you are using duplicate. So again, if you duplicate an audio event, they stay independent and you can adjust them individually. If you loop them and then separate them for different parts of the song, they stay connected unless you actually choose one to separate shared copies. Hopefully that makes sense. Wayne Goldman just joined us. Good to see you, Wayne. I would have assumed, Wayne, that this late in the evening you would have a gig tonight. I've been seeing all the posts of some of your gigs, Wayne. They're pretty darn cool. Pretty darn cool. I miss it. I really do. Wayne and I are pretty much the same age, but I pretty much don't think I could do a stage show anymore. What's up? Wayne Goldman, one of the best drummers I've ever had the pleasure to be in a band with. And I was in a couple. Just him, me, and Mike for a while. It wasn't really a band. It was just, oh, he's off till February. Very cool. But we were in a band called Access Denied. How's that for a band name? Very cool. All right, folks, so if you've got any questions on shared or duplicate, there will be a standalone video for this coming out, and I'm actually kind of glad we did this because it's going to give me the ability to maybe do a couple of short videos on the two different situations. So very cool. Let's see, actually doing a fill-in gig for an AC/DC tribute band on the 18th. Oh, you have got to post videos. Have Debbie record videos. I really want to see that. Oh, man. I don't even think I could sing AC/DC. Hell's bells. It's the best I can do. Everything I try to do with any kind of voice is a whisper. The fluff. Very cool. We got 16 people in here. We have actually gone through duplicating an event and looping an event and the differences in editing each of them and how they're applied. So very, very cool. Very, very cool. Yeah. Wayne, if you want to, I don't know if you have some videos posted on your YouTube channel for some of these. For some of these shows. I don't even know if you have a YouTube channel. If you do, post a link. I'd love people to see you drumming. Wayne, with the amount that we listened to AC/DC when we were kids, I have a feeling that you are not going to need much practice. I could be wrong. I could totally be wrong. Oh, he says I do. Well, I guess we're married now. Just kidding. Keep her humor. Oh, man. Really, really good stuff. I so miss playing live. God. I miss singing. You have no idea the vocal gymnastics I have to do just to keep my voice understandable. All right, so now Kyle just said I've got big. I don't know what that means, but congratulations, Kyle. Very cool. So if you guys have any questions on today's demonstration, please feel free to let me know. We've got about 15 minutes left. Oh, very cool. All right, I just gave Wayne permission to post a link. So please go visit his site. There's some killer stuff up there. Now, he shared that stuff with me through Facebook. I've just never been to his YouTube. But you guys got to go there. Oh, it's in... Oh, I get it now, Kyle. Man, I want to say something so bad, but it is completely inappropriate. Oh, man. But I understand now, Kyle. All right, Wayne says, this is the channel. Some of the band stuff is there from multiple projects I've done and some other junk. Okay. I just go for the junk. Edgar Price says, off topic. What is your main benefit of having two atoms? Boy. I gotta be honest with you, Edgar. I primarily let's see if I can do this here. I primarily use this one. The only thing that I really use this for is bass lines and keyboards. You know, I've got this. See, I can show you guys this here. I've got this little keyboard under here that I can use. So even still, this atom isn't really this. It doesn't get a lot of uses. Wayne Goldman says balls. Oh, man. So Edgar, I'm sure that doesn't help. From some of the people that I teach on both of these, for me, I primarily got this one to teach because I've got some videos posted on this guy here. But for the people that I have taught, The advantage of it is the fact that it's got 32 pads instead of 16 pads. That's a huge difference, especially if you're queuing up a lot of drum kits. If you're queuing up a drum kit with a lot of different sounds, I have a couple of drum kits where the cymbals are in other banks, and the advantage of this one here is that I can access a couple of banks at once. A and B, C and D, E and F. The thing that I don't like about it is the fact that it's got little pads. I am a whiz at these here. These, not so much. Yeah, it's like math for me. You know, I can calculate on this thing just fine, but this goes about 16 pads too far before my brain shuts down. So I hope that answers your question. I know that for some of the people that I teach that actually do beats and create beats for other people, the Atom SQ is invaluable. And most of the people that use it do a lot more programming. Again, you've only got 4 knobs over here, and you've got 8 over here. So there you go. And Edgar says, interesting. Yeah. I mean, with the original Atom, this is just like your basic drum pad setup, and it is perfect for what I do. It really, really is. I just really like this for bass lines and maybe just some incidental chords that I want to do if this thing doesn't work. Now, this thing right here, this thing disconnects all the time. So sometimes I'm kind of forced to use this. And when I do, I always say to myself, boy, I've got to use this more often. And then I don't. So I also have the big keyboard over here. This is a 76 key keyboard, so this thing does everything that I need. So I do have that option, but I've got to pass this ladder. This is the ladder to get to my bed up above. So it's a little bit more work to pull out of this little cubby here where I have access to everything ergonomically and then go over there. So, and that also has my PC. So if I'm training somebody on a PC, I usually go over there and I do all my work from over there. So the drum pads over here are actually my SR16, my 30-year-old SR16 that I bought in 1984. Wild. Absolutely wild. 84, 86, I bought that thing. Let's see, Edgar says, I need one of those covers that you have on your fader port. Oh, they're expensive. They are stupid expensive. This is, here. See if I can do this here. Whoops, that's the wrong one. There we go. Yeah, this is super nice. And I used to I bought a bunch of different size towels, black towels. So originally I would just cover them up, and that works just as well. The thing I like about this is my extra pairs of glasses fit right there. So I mean, I have access to both my iPads. Now this I got refurbished. It was cheap, and this is my original iPad. So I can't update it at all. I just pretty much just keep that for the Personas apps that actually do still run on it. But yeah, this I can't remember. God, I think this cover. I think the cover for the fader port, it was almost $100, I think. Because they make them for all the different fader ports. So, you know, it works really nice. I like it. And Mark says it looks nice. Excellent. So let's go back to the show main. There we go. Very cool. All right, we've got 10 people left here. I'll be signing off here in about 5 minutes. Let's see. Mark says, yow. Yeah, they're expensive. I can't remember. Let me see if I can remember. I can get you guys the link. I should probably keep it. I mean, I think it's worth it. if I have the money. All right, let me try something. Let's see. Oops, I didn't want that. I got cookie crumbs all over my keys now. FADRPORT. Let's see. There it is. It's called Deck Saver. All right, so let's do this. Let's go to the classroom here, and instead of Studio One, we are going to take a peek at this. There we go. All right, so the you can see here it's $89. This is for 54 bucks. This looks like it's for the little fader port. You can also buy a desk cover for the fader port 8. Let's see, the Deck Saver. I don't think they're on Amazon. No, they're on Sweetwater though. Yeah, that's it right there. We can also go to I think it's desksaver.com. Oh, no, it's not. So let's just do Desk Saver. And there we go. So let's see. There it is. Merry Christmas. There we go. So these are all of the different models. Now, I don't get... This is not sponsored. I don't get anything from these guys. I just think it's cool stuff. So here are all of the different pieces of equipment that you can get for them. That's some pretty cool stuff. Ooh, even for some of the foot pedals. All right, cool. Edgar says saving up for one. Yeah. I mean, like I said, they're expensive, but they're worth it. I mean, my fader port should last for as long as Studio One will work with it. Which would be forever, because the original fader port, the silver one, still works with Studio One, which I think is crazy, because I bought that with Studio One. I bought that with Studio One version. Oh, actually, I bought it before Studio One was even a thing. I bought it when I used to use Cubase. Oh, let's see, off to go practice some AC/DC tunes. All right, very cool. So now, Wayne, if you can get some video of you screwing up one of the AC/DC songs, I'll post it. Oh, I've been asked by so many local bands, to be their drummer, because they see my videos when I'm doing drums, and I just do like freestyle stuff. I don't really do covers, and I just would not feel confident going up on stage with a drum kit, because I got a drum kit, I got an acoustic and an electric kit, but I don't know. I could never do that. All right, very cool. All right, we got a couple of minutes left if you guys have any questions. Although I do want to thank Bob for becoming a member of the YouTube channel. And I want to thank Mark for becoming an awesome supporter with a $20 donation. Man, I really appreciate it. Very, very much. And Kyle with a donation that he made through PayPal for Home Studio Trainer, which I really appreciate. Very, very cool. All right, I think that that's going to do it for me for tonight. If you have any questions or comments, if you're watching this on replay, please make sure that you post those questions in the comments area. I respond to every comment in my YouTube videos, both live and recorded. Billy Morgan just posted a link to a after show Zoom that you guys might be able to go to. Unfortunately, I'm going to work, so I can't. If I can sneak in, Billy, I will see you guys there. All right, like I said, questions or comments in the comment section. I check them 3 times a day, so I always answer my comments, good or bad. If you have any criticisms, critiques, thoughts, or ideas, please put them in the comment section. I really do appreciate it, and I will see you all next week, either between 6 and 7 o'clock. So I like to try to get these things started at 6. But if I don't, I will post a link to the proper time. Maybe I'll do a 6:30 one if I'm late. All right, folks, that's it. I will see you guys all in the next live stream. Take care.